Hello, beautiful people. It is already week 3. I am enjoying reading all of your responses and watching your videos and getting to put a face and a name together. So I look forward to more of that this coming week. And let's just jump right into week 3 so that we can see what you'll be doing this week. You have readings this week, The Power of Teacher Leaders, Appendix 19A and 19B. You have Teacher Leadership Skills Framework. You have the Literature Review, Chapter 3, and Finding the Literature, and then Research on Your Own concerning your chosen topic. So let's look at week 3, your Lit Review. Your Lit Review tip, you won't use it all. So as you're researching, you're going to come across some great stuff. But as you start to dwindle and narrow down, you won't use everything that you found, but that's okay. Hang on to it, because if you decide to go into the doc program and start thinking about a dissertation, those might be very useful resources for you. Also might be useful for your TED Ed, depending on the topic that you choose. So your week 3 Lit Review discussion board, after reading the Mackay and McAvoy text and reviewing the UWF LibGuide, use the Gardner-Webb LibGuide to search for articles, books, or ebooks that contain information about the 3 areas of interest you wrote about last week. Skim the resources to gauge their appropriateness. List your interest topics and list 3 resources that you found that could possibly be used in a lit review. As you evaluate your resources, narrow down your topic. What research research question will you use for your literature review this semester? So really this week you should be narrowing down and coming up with your research question on your topic and resources that you can use for your literature review. So really take some time, think about it, decide what you really want to research and study, because you're going to be spending some time in that literature, and you want to make sure that it's something that you're interested in. That's going to be using the 20-point rubric. So just make sure that you're following the 20-point rubric. The couple of things that really throw people with this rubric are connections to the course content and or standards. You need to make sure that you're looking at the things that need to be included for 3-4 points. Response to peers is also something that throws folks. Notice that to get a 4, you made a response, a thought and insight, even though none was required. And this post doesn't require a peer response. So if you're looking at 3s and 4s, look at the things that you need to do to get that 4 if that's what you're looking for. If you are good with the 3, which is perfectly fine, then you're good with the 3. Just so that you are aware that that's the rubric that we'll be using. Back in week 3, The Power of Teacher Leaders. Hang on a minute. I think I told you the wrong rubric. Let me check and just make sure. I want to make sure we're on the right rubric for each of the responses. The Power of Teacher Leaders. Sorry, let's go back there. Think carefully about the characteristics of teacher leaders in Appendix 19A and B. List the characteristics for each. Explain how a teacher leader exhibits these characteristics, behaviors differently than a teacher who isn't a leader. Use your own ideas and the Teacher Leadership Skills Framework. Reflect on your completed work and respond to at least 2 of your colleagues' posts. So that means that this Power of Teacher Leaders needs to be in by Sunday night so that your peers can respond. This will be graded on the 4-point rubric. So be very careful about what you're including in your response. If you go back down here to 2 points, let's say, original is not made in time for others to respond, or original post and or peer post are generally competent, but the actual information they deliver make limited, if any, connections are in the form of vague generalities, or contain few, if any, new ideas, or are rehashing or summary. So be very careful to make sure that your response not only answers the question, but that you have new ideas, both in your response and your peer response, and that there are new applications. They're not just generalities. If you go on over to 3 points and 4 points, you'll notice that all of those things have to be there, as well as making connections to the standards and reflection on course content. So even though it's only a 4-point response, be very careful to make sure that you follow that rubric and answer 2 of your colleagues. So be very careful on this week's assignments. In your ED UC 696, you're going to submit your site supervisor agreement to TaskStream. If it's open, sometimes it takes 3 or 4 weeks for TaskStream to actually be assigned and open. So go ahead and try to get that in there if you can. If not, wait a week and try again. And you're also going to turn in your first internship log, entry 1. So just make sure that with this entry, that it says includes a minimum of 5 entries. You may or may not have 5 entries that you've done. I don't really look at that so much as the activities that you have completed, but you do need to make sure that you're very detailed. So a lot of you, when you were turning in your logs, were just saying like 10 plus hours shadowing a coach, and that is fine. But when you turn those hours in, I need to know specifically what it is you shadowed. What did you see? What did you do? How long was it? Where was it? Why was it? So just be very intentional in your journal or your logs. You're going to turn in the table of contents or table of completed activities, the current date, a description, an explanation of how it goes beyond your normal teaching duties, reflection on connections to course content, and reflection on connections to standards. Now, whatever format you want to use is fine. I've had students put it in a table, which is really, excuse me, which is really easy for me to read and grade. I've had students journal it with headings and then just add the next log to the bottom, which is great. I love both of them. Just make sure that you're following each of the descriptions as you turn in each of your logs. So this week, not quite as much work, I don't think, on you to do. Just be careful about when you get your work turned in. Be careful about your peer responses, and be careful about following the rubrics. Please let me know if you have any questions, concerns. Hope you're having some great weeks. I hope you had a great Labor Day off, and looking forward to seeing your work. See ya.